Japan. That plan went astray right at the start of the match, of course, when Sanchez was sent off for that handball for Colombia. Senegal have not suffered any ill fortune in the opening stages of this one. Into the second set in the final at Queen's. Russell Fuller watching the tennis.
And Novak Djokovic in the ascendancy, having won the first set against the #1 seed Marin Cilic by 7 games to 5. It's on serve in the second with Djokovic 3-2 up, but he's been putting the pressure on the Cilic serve, saving 2 break points in Cilic's opening service game. Is he about to win his first title for 51 weeks on tour?
Yeah, Russell will tell us. He'll keep us right up to date with that, of course, from West London. Here, a free kick in central Russia. Free kick for Japan to be taken right-footed in towards the heart of the Senegalese penalty area. A little bit of a double ricochet before Senegal are able to clear deep into the Japanese half, and it will run over the touchline on the far side. It's allowed to run by Nagatomo. Throw in for Japan. Taken back to their captain, Hasibi, who does play deep in between the two central defenders when necessary. Now Shoji, one of the regular back four. Up it goes now to Kagawa. We've seen very little of the playmaker, the former Manchester United man, now at Borussia Dortmund. But Japan have made good progress now down the right-hand side. And Sakai was sent tumbling over very close to the corner flag. And Japan have been awarded this corner, I think, as the tackle came in from the full-back Sabali. And a corner for Japan.
Yeah, could quite easily have been a booking. The ball was running out for a corner to Japan. Sakai was just trying to see it out, and as you said, Sabali came over and flung himself at the ball. I wouldn't say it was a two-footed tackle, but both feet, the momentum of his tackle certainly wiped Sakai out as the ball was rolling out for a corner, and could certainly have been a yellow card.
Corner then for Japan, which they've taken short. Kagawa was chopped down, I felt, there by the defender, but the referee sees nothing wrong. And Senegal are bursting forward with Sadio Mane up over the halfway line on the left-hand side. He's 20 yards inside the Japanese half, plays it into Njai. He's inside the penalty area to the dead ball line, scoops it across. No takers in the middle in white shirts for Senegal, and it runs all the way out to Wegu on the near side. In comes another swept cross, and then the shot on the turn from Ndai is straight at the goalkeeper Kawashima, who's able to dive away rather flamboyantly to his left-hand side, but he holds onto the ball.
Well, it's devastating pace on the counter-attack. The speed at which they go box to box at the minute. You've got Sarr, Niang and Mane. The pace of the three of them once they do realise they're on the counter-attack is frightening. They had a cross from the left side that was unfortunate. Nobody was able to get on the end of, and then a cross straight away from the right side which Niang directed on target, I think it was. So, yeah, really strong pace on that counter-attack, and you know that's a way for them to maybe get the second goal in this game.
Well, we're just about halfway through the first half. Japan 0, Senegal 1. This match in Group H of the World Cup in Ekaterinburg Arena, the most easterly point of this World Cup in Russia. And England earlier on today made sure of their qualification for the last 16 when they beat Panama by 6 goals to 1. It also meant that Belgium were definitely through, and it will be England against Belgium on Thursday evening to determine who finishes top of that group. And the winners of that group will play the runners-up in this group. So England-Senegal is a possibility on the horizon, perhaps, Leon Osman?
Absolutely, but you know, as you mentioned before, any of these 4 teams in this group could still potentially go through. The two, what you call underdogs, won the first games. You'd expect Poland and Colombia to have a right good go at each other later on today, and who knows the way that game will go. So this group is still wide open today.
Sabali has got it for Senegal inside his own half into Ghana Gay, who's muscled off the ball, and the Japanese do need to get in a few tackles. That one was ill-judged though by Haraguchi, and it's a free kick for the Senegal in the mid-section of the pitch. Senegal leading by 1-0. Kagawa needs to retreat a few yards, so this can be taken. They need to get Shinji Kagawa onto the ball a bit more just to get things ticking for Japan, and they do have to play more intricate football, don't they, on the floor to overcome the more physical specimens in the Senegal team.
Well, they do. Every time they've matched up with the Senegalese today. They've just been out-muscled, and you know, sometimes you can't compete in that way. Physically, it's not going to be the way to beat the opposition. They've got to be clever. They've got to pull into pockets. They can't let Senegal players match up against them physically, because there'll be only one winner in that today.
Here's Wegu, near side for Senegal, halfway inside the Japanese half. He's on the right, just in front of the Senegalese manager or head coach, Cisse, with the dreadlocks, watching on. He's the youngest manager at the World Cup at the age of 42. Proud of his team at the moment. Long ball played up to the edge of the Japanese penalty area. Comes to Njai. Two Njais in the midfield, by the way. One who played for Wolves last season, the other who played for Stoke. Alfred Njai and Badu Njai. And Diouf of Stoke City left out for this game by the Senegalese manager. Here now is Nagatomo for Japan with the dyed blonde hair. The fullback plays it wide to Inui. Nagatomo continues his run, whips in across towards the near post. That was a bit better. Cisse was underneath it though to clear away for Senegal. And now up the near side comes Niang, who is trouble on the ball. At least it's trouble trying to get the ball off him. He's big and he's strong, and he was trying to get the better of Shibasaki, and Shibasaki was pulling his arm back, and it has to be a free kick.
Well, that summed it up right there. A ball up to Niang, who looked like he had a poor touch. It looked like it was too close to Shibasaki for him to take it off him, and he just completely out-muscled him, used his arm, got around him, and got his team a free kick. And I say it again, but the physical mismatch is staggering.
I wonder if it's all over at Old Trafford. Jonathan Overend.
No, not yet, and Josh Butler will very much hope this has still got plenty of legs in it, this match. He's England's highest average scorer in the series, and he's still there. He's made a 50, and again, 52 not out, Butler. Rashid has 2. England are 123 for 8. We're in the 33rd over. They need 206 to win.
Yeah, long shot, but still firing away there. Commentary over on 5 Live Sports Extra. Here Senegal have got another corner, and a couple of these corners haven't been the best so far from Mbai Niang, but he still has the responsibility of taking this one on his right foot. It'll curl away from goal. Salif Sani is one of the targets in the centre, 6 foot plus, the Hanover central defender, alongside Koulibaly. The referee will be watching out for some shirt pulling. We saw that penalty finally given for shirt pulling at a corner in the England game earlier on. So Niang to take it. Up he comes now. Thunders it to the centre of the goal, and in there trying to get a head on it was Njai, and Shibashima has been fouled as he tried to drag it clear, and it's going to be a free kick for Japan inside their own penalty area. The foul by Alfred Njai of Villarreal, who played a part in the promotion to the Premier League of Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, Leon Osman, we were worried. 30 matches without a 0-0 after England's goal fest, but we have managed to bring the nation a goal here. Senegal 1-0 up.
Yeah, and it's, I would say, a deserved lead at the moment. They started the game on the front foot. They've been getting the ball forward as quickly as they can, and creating opportunities. Japan are just growing into the game. They've realised how they've got to go about this. They can't get touch tight with this Senegalese team. They've got to play in pockets. They've got to be clever, and they've got to have good movements. And as I've said, the Senegalese have been on top so far, but Japan are starting to grow into this game.
Throw in for Japan, as Leon Osman was saying. The Japanese just beginning to get a little bit of a grip and a feel after the, I suppose, a bit of a shock to concede such a soft goal, with the goalkeeper punching the ball from very low down straight at Sadio Mane, who was in the right place to just stand his ground, and the ball went in off his leg, off his knee, for the opening goal from close range. Japan tried to thrust forward, but cleared away by Njai for Senegal to the halfway line. And Sakai gets a touch, finds Shibasaki, and that's a long ball forward looking for Inui. Nice header away though by Sane. Salif Sane gets it away for Senegal, and they survive for the time being. But Japan will pick it up again on the halfway line with Shoji. He squares it to Shibasaki, who's come deep now into the centre circle to roll it forward to Kagawa and out to the near side, and Hasebi wearing the green captain's armband. Japan all in blue, playing from right to left. 5 Live from the BBC and the BBC World Service across Africa. They'll be happy in West Africa at the moment, with Senegal in front by 1-0. We played for 29 minutes. Kagawa for Japan, out to the far side, and Sakai onto Hiraguchi, but across comes Koulibaly, and Koulibaly shows excellent control to take the ball towards the corner flag and then clear it away deep, and then it breaks kindly again for Senegal to presumably complete the clearance. Koulibaly's got it again, back to his goalkeeper, and he strikes through the ball right-footed up to the halfway line, where it's a bit of a no contest in the air between Niang and the defenders. And although Shoji did get his head to the ball, he couldn't control the defensive clearance under so much pressure. Out for a Senegal throw, and their supporters are very colourful. Their faces are painted, their whole bodies are painted actually in whites and the national colours, the red and the yellow and the green of Senegal, who lead 1-0.
Yeah, both sets of fans are enjoying themselves, making a lot of noise, dancing and singing at both ends of the stadium, and you know, both teams at the moment are giving their all and trying to win this game for them.
The final group matches across Russia begin tomorrow, including the host nation Russia playing their final match against Uruguay. That will determine who wins their group. We know that Russia and Uruguay are already through. 3 o'clock commentary on that one on 5 Live tomorrow afternoon. Russia, Uruguay, France, Croatia, Belgium and England are the countries through to the last 16 so far. Senegal and Japan both with a bit of a platform after winning their opening games, and Senegal 1-0 up against the Japanese in this second fixture for the two countries. Japan, who had a very turbulent build-up to the tournament, changing their head coach 70 days before it all began, after a bit of a falling out between their coach from Bosnia and the Japanese FA over the fact he didn't use some of the more experienced players. And one of those, Kagawa, is in the team here, but Okazaki and Honda remain on the bench for later. Okazaki of Leicester, if he's fit, you'd imagine they'd want to get him into the fray in the second half.
Yeah, potentially, but he was a substitute in the first game, come on for the last 5 or 10 minutes, did affect the game, but Honda, especially when they brought him on, really did have an effect on that first game. The positions he was getting in, his delivery from set pieces, really turned the table for Japan, and I would expect them to both to be on at some point in the second half.
Here's Yoshida for Japan, who've defended well there on the edge of their own penalty area. A couple of players, one from each team, are down injured at the moment. It's the Senegal player who is staying down the longer, and the referee has blown his whistle. Sadio Mane, the goal scorer, is the player who was on the receiving end in that tussle. Just fell a little awkwardly, didn't seem to be too much in it. He was pushed ever so slightly by Sakai, though the referee saw nothing wrong. No,
it was a coming together from a long diagonal pass over to that right back for Japan, left wing area for Senegal. A coming together, fell on the floor, whereas Mane did fall on the floor. He scraped his elbow down Sakai's boots, and he seems to be in a bit of pain from it, but certainly not a foul.
Play will resume now that the referee has checked on the well-being of Sadio Mane. He is going to be fine.
As I said before, Senegal started this game really well. They were running this Japanese defence, getting down the channels, really causing them problems in the wide areas especially, but whether you'd say they've stepped off a touch or Japan have grown in confidence, but for the last 10-15 minutes especially, Japan have dominated possession, really had a big chunk of it, knocking the ball around for passing, getting in the pockets that they need to, rather than matching up against this Senegal team, and they're starting to work themselves into good areas.
Yes, and the stats for possession have just eased into Japan's favour, 51-49. Here's Kagawa, very deep, not really influencing the game too much at the moment. Yoshida will roll it short to Shibasaki, and Shibasaki with a right-footed long diagonal ball to Nagatomo inside the penalty area. The left back is onto it. Inuai will score. It's a brilliant equalising goal for Japan. Takashi Takashi Inoue, the man who scored it after superb approach play by Nagatomo. And just when we said Japan were getting back into the game, they conjure up the equaliser with a very crisp right-footed strike from deep inside the penalty area from Takashi Inoue. It is Japan 1, Senegal 1, and we can see the Imperial Princess of Japan, and she's applauding the goal, and why should she not?
Well, I said they were growing into this game, figuring out how to get at this Senegal team, and it's a long diagonal ball from Shibasaki over the top to Nagatomo in this left-back area. He's got in behind Wagyu in this area. He's probably got a touch lucky with his first touch. He's tried to bring it down. It's rolled in between two Senegal players in the penalty area. Felt it Inoue. And Inoue, he's tried this a couple of times in the last few games, just getting the ball onto his right foot and bending it low into that far corner. And he does it this time perfectly well. It just sneaks in past that far post. The keeper can't get there. And Japan have grown into this game over the past 10 minutes, find themselves level.
Yeah. That's what he does, comes in off the left, strikes it right-footed when he gets the opportunity. Inoue making it Japan 1, Senegal 1 after 35 minutes. And Senegal were well on top in the opening 20 minutes or so, but we did mark the card of the listeners by saying that Japan were getting right back into it.
They were. It was as if they were shocked for the first 10 minutes how physical Senegal were and how they were struggling to keep up, especially running the channels. They just couldn't get near them, but a good team figures the opposition out, and for the last 10 minutes they've just played in pockets. They've played 3 yards away from the Senegal midfielder. They've not allowed them to get tight enough to use that physicality and make it effective, and they've started to make the Senegal team go deeper and deeper and not get near them. And yes, possession wise they've grown, they've started to get in pockets, and that long diagonal ball from Shibasaki was fantastic over the top to Nagatomo. As I said, I think he got a touch lucky with his first touch, but Inoue didn't. He didn't get lucky at all. He hit his shot fantastically well, killed it. It looked like it was going wide, but it had enough bend just to keep inside that far post. Goalkeeper had no chance, and as I said, I think they deserve to be 1-1. Yeah,
no questioning the quality of the strike there from the Spanish-based player to make it 1-1 in this match in Ekaterinburg, and it's hit long and diagonally again by Japan, this time down the right-hand side, and Hagakuchi comes into the edge of the penalty area, needs a bit of support. It's there from behind him from Hasebi, and the skipper out wide to the far side. In comes across from the right-hand side, looking for Kagawa, headed away by Senegal. They need Ghana Gay back there on defensive duty to help it further away outside of their penalty area, and here now is Niang on the near side for Senegal, but all of a sudden Japan are biting into their tackles, and Niang was getting a bit frustrated and deliberately kicked out at Kagawa, conceding a free kick for Japan. And Senegal need to keep their cool, keep their heads.
Yeah, they've just lost their way a touch, and as I said, Niang, who was bossing Shoji for the first 10 minutes. Shoji's just started to be a bit clever, just staying off him a yard, and as Niang tries to turn, he pounces on any loose touch. On that occasion he won the ball, and Niang got frustrated because of it and gave the free kick away. So very clever play from Japan.
Okay, to France very quickly, an update on the Formula 1, the French Grand Prix. Jack Nicholls.
Lap 50 of 53, so very much in the closing stages. Hamilton still leading, 4.5 seconds clear of Verstappen. Kimi Raikkonen's charged through the order and is now in 3rd place for Ferrari. Hamilton's title rival Vettel is in 5th place.
So certainly a chance there for Lewis Hamilton to go back to the top of the drivers' standings, and that's over on the BBC website. Here's a chance for Saar to play the ball into the Japanese penalty area, headed away by Yoshida of Southampton. And now Nagatomo, the man who played a part and assist in the goal, he's lost it on the edge of his own penalty area. Now it's Saar thrusting forward for Senegal towards the dead ball line, but that was very well defended by the experienced Hasebi. The skipper for Japan got goal side of his man, didn't touch the ball, and was able to police it away for the goal kick. Fantastic central midfield play. His left back just got in a little bit of trouble. Nagatomo just got underneath the ball. I think it was Niang or Saar who just got around him, and Hasebi just spotted the danger. He came over into that space behind his left back, covered him. Saar thought he was going into the penalty area unchallenged, but Hasebi spotted it, came over and saw the goal, sorted out for a goal kick to his team. Fantastic central play from him. Turning out to be a decent game now, 1-1, and we played for 39 minutes on 5 Live from the BBC. And here are Senegal with Sarr, plays it in field to Ndai, and that's a good ball forward for Niang, who gets goal side of the defender who was sleeping, gets away the shot, and it's saved by Kawashima, the goalkeeper, off his line. Looked to be slightly in no man's land, but in the end he made amends for his earlier error leading to the goal by spreading himself and making the block.
Well, when you're as physically powerful as Niang is, it just takes one quality ball down the side of the centre half, just like happened then. I think it may have been Ndai who played the ball in between the left back and left centre half, Shoji of Japan. Niang just turned and chased after him, nothing complicated. He just used his strength to outmuscle him and get a free shot at goal, and it was a really good save from Kawashima in the end to deny him that opportunity. But when you're as physical as Niang is, any kind of quality ball and you can find yourself in on goal.
Yes, Asabi up to the centre forward for Japan. Osaka, who spread it wide to the far side. Haraguchi comes in onto his left foot and lifts the shot over the top of the bar from about 20 yards. And he apologises for being so wayward. It remains 1-1. Let's go back to the tennis and Russell Fuller.
Marin Cilic has just saved a championship point. Novak Djokovic taking the first set 7-5. He had match point to take the second set 6-4, but an ace and 2 big serves means it's now 5 games all.
Thanks, Russell. Just seeing a replay of Niang's shots. Pretty close to the goalkeeper in the end.
Yeah, it was. The goalkeeper came out quickly to narrow the angle down, and Yoshida probably just put enough pressure on Niang, but it was very easy how they got in. And you know, Japan have got to be aware of that defensively, and from a Senegal point of view, I'd be trying to just slip it down the side of them centre halves as often as possible.
Haraguchi for Japan. The game is opening up a bit. Sakai back to Shibasaki. Shibasaki in low to the edge of the penalty area. Laid back again to Hasabi, and now out wide to the full-back, who's always willing to come forward. Sakai exchanges passes with Haraguchi. All of this is inside the Senegal half, although Japan patiently are prepared to go backwards to the centre circle just to keep control of the ball. And their passing game is beginning to click now, and they are buoyant after scoring that equalising goal. It is 1-1 in Ekaterinburg, in the Ekaterinburg arena in Russia. Shoji with the ball to Kagawa for Japan. I think they've now perhaps passed the ball 100 times more than Senegal in the opening 40 minutes or so.
Possibly, I mean, they deserve great credit, because when you find yourself 1-0 down for an early goal, sometimes you can lose your way. It's difficult to, first of all, to steady yourselves, to make sure no other goals go in, but then to get a grip of the game like the Japanese have. They're dominating the game at the minute. Possession on the halfway line, not just in their own half. They're trying to pick pockets, getting Inouye in off one side and Haraguchi in off the other. Kagawa's starting to have more of an effect on the game, and at the moment it's the game is being played in the Senegal half, and considering how the game started, that's great credit to Japan.
Yeah, Japan 1, Senegal 1. A look at the watch tells us we've played just under 42 minutes. We'll be rounding up all the latest from the Formula 1, the tennis and the cricket at half-time here on 5 Live. Don't forget the climax to the Grand Prix is online and on the BBC Sport app, and the cricket on 5 Live Sports Extra. Here is Senegal with possession. Sabali is the fullback who loves to get forward. Sadio Mane is okay after that bang he took about 5 minutes or so ago. Just plays it sensibly back to the halfway line, and then it's hit long to Sabali, who's in at the corner flag area here for Senegal. Drives it against the covering defender Sakai, and it's out for a corner for Senegal. And these set pieces, you would imagine, in theory, carry a major threat, though some of the deliveries in from the corners they've had so far have been fairly poor from Senegal.
Yeah, it's all about delivery and movement inside that penalty area. You saw England over their 2 games. The delivery and the movement has been fantastic. Despite the size of this Senegalese team, they've had neither so far today, and that's why they haven't created any opportunities really from corners.
Badu Njai of Stoke City is going to take the corner from the far side in his blue boots. It's a low one, I think deliberately low to the near post this time. The back heel was attempted by, I think it might have been Sane, was it, up from the back? Either way, he didn't make contact on the ball and it was cleared away. Let's go to the end of the Grand Prix then in France, and Jack Nicholls.
Lewis Hamilton is driving towards the final corner on this Paul Ricard circuit. He started on pole position. He's dominated it from the front. His championship rival Sebastian Vettel crashed with his teammate. Vettel will only finish 5th, but Hamilton out of the final corner wins and retakes the championship lead after victory at the French Grand Prix. A superb drive from Hamilton, dominant, and he's back in the lead of the championship.
Thanks, Jack. Yes, Hamilton leading from lights out all the way through to the flag there as the French Grand Prix returns to the calendar. And Lewis Hamilton said he might have been slightly distracted wondering about the England score in the football. Well, he's had a good day all round, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's been a great day for Lewis and for any Lewis Hamilton fans. England winning this morning convincingly. Lewis Hamilton winning this afternoon convincingly. It's been a good day.
England 6, Panama 1. If you've been out paragliding or something and have missed the coverage earlier on. Here, a free kick for Senegal. It is 1-1. We're into the last minute of the first 45. And it will be played in right-footed. They're looking for offside, the Japanese. The flag stayed down as the ball was launched into the box beyond the far post. It was headed across there by Niang, and the goalkeeper's got it. And I'm not sure whether the flag went up at all there. It should have done. How many were offside? About 5 of them offside in a line. Let's say if they'd scored from that, VAR would have said no.
I think nowadays assistant referees or linesmen are told to keep the flag down initially to see how the move works out, and if VAR is needed, they'll use it. But Japan just held the line just as the free kick was about to be taken. As a unit, they all ran up, played probably 6 or 7 players offside for Senegal, and yes, the linesman didn't put his flag up, but yeah, I think he was waiting. It was obvious that many of those Senegal players were offside.
Yes, the computer definitely would have said no once the VAR officials had looked at that. Had the ball gone in the net, but it didn't. It is still 1-1, and Inui, the man who scored the equalising goal for Japan, gets a little touch on the near side, doesn't make much progress. Cleared by Senegal. The ball is bobbled out of play in front of the 2 technical areas for a throw-in for Senegal, all in white. 1 minute added on at the end of the first 45 minutes, and we've had most of those 60 seconds already, and we're all square. None the wiser at the moment between Japan and Senegal in what could be a very, very tight group. As I was saying earlier, could be a 4-way tie if this ends in a draw, and the match later ends in a draw, and then Poland and Colombia win their final matches. That is half-time. It is 1-1, and a fair enough reflection. Senegal started well, got a bit of a lucky goal after the goalkeeping error, but Japan hit back.
Yeah, it was actually a really good first half. Senegal started really well, scored an early goal, albeit from a shocker from Kawashima in the Japan goal. But from that moment on, I thought Senegal might take the game away from Japan. They were dominant to that point, but massive credit to Japan. They steadied the ship. They made sure they didn't concede anymore. Grew in the game as it went on, possession, keeping the ball, and started to work out how to affect the Senegalese team. And they did that on a couple of occasions and justifiably got that equalising goal. So 1-1 at half-time. Both teams have certainly contributed to the game, and I expect to see more of the same in the second half.
Yes, all square. Japan 1, Senegal 1.
Ian and Liam, thank you very much. We'll be rejoining them for the second half of Japan's match against Senegal in Group H. That's the group from which England's opponents in the last 16 will come. Terry Butcher is here in the studio. We've had people getting in touch on social media. Terry Rich said, I said the long ball forward would be away from Japan, and they scored from that one. It lifted the Japanese, and now Senegal are on the back foot. Danny says, though, mark my words, Senegal will be the surprise team of the tournament. But Senegal haven't lost any of their previous 14 international matches in which Sadio Mane has scored. Can you see them losing this one, or do you think it's pretty evenly balanced, Terry?
No, I can see them losing because I can see them scoring as well, but losing at the back, their defence is their Achilles heel. They're very strong going forward. Koulibaly and Sané, the 2 centre halves, don't look great. The two full-backs, Wagé and Sabali, they don't tuck round enough, and with the keeper as well. I mean, I wouldn't be happy about that. If England do end up playing Senegal, then they might well do in the next round, the round of 16. then I can see Harry Kane filling his boots again. The only thing is, they are very strong going forward. Niang in particular is strong, quick, got a good eye for a goal, and Mane scored, albeit he didn't know much about it. He has scored in the competition now, so I would fear, of that group, of the Group H, I would fear Senegal the most.
But you did say that Harry Kane could fill his boots potentially against Senegal, and we will hear from him with John Murray before the second half. What were you saying?
I was just saying, on this day, June 24th, in 2004, England lost a penalty shootout to Portugal in Euro 2004. But Harry Kane had his own penalty shootout today and scored 2 from the spot, so perhaps that was
encouraging signs, perhaps, for England as they maybe progress through the tournament. At the moment, though, Japan won, Senegal won at half-time in Ekaterinburg. We'll rejoin Ian Brown and Leon Osman for the second half of that one, and we'll hear from Harry Kane before the second half of that game. Now, though, let's find out what's happening in the cricket with Jonathan Overend.
Well, it's all getting very interesting now at Old Trafford, which is good news for England fans because they were in awful trouble at 86 for 6 and 114 for 8. They're now 157 for 8. So remember, they need 206 to win this final ODI and complete the whitewash against Australia. As predicted, Jos Buttler is leading the way, 70 not out. Adil Rashid playing a useful knock with him. He has 11. We're in the 38th over. So England, as things stand, need another 49 runs to win. Australia need 2 wickets.
It may well be coming to the end of the final at Queen's. Cilic against Djokovic. Russell Fuller.
Marin Cilic's turn to show some resilience now, having saved a championship point with an ace and followed it up with 2 big serves to hold serve and make it 5-all. He held much more comfortably to take us into a second set tiebreak, 1 point all. Djokovic took the first set 7-5, so he's a tiebreak away from his first ATP title for virtually a year.
Russell, thank you very much for that. So we've kept you up to date with what's happening in the cricket. We will bring you the result of the tennis as soon as it's in after the BBC News with Helen Place.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
The 5 Live News headlines. A hat-trick from Harry Kane helped England beat Panama 6-1 at the World Cup. They're through to the knockout stages of the tournament. James was at the stadium in Nizhny Novgorod.
I was not expecting that much, to be honest. I was expecting a few goals today, but not as many as they were. First half, England played fantastic. Second half, I was hoping for a few more, but kind of hoping for World Cup records, 9, 10, but it didn't quite happen. But yeah, I was happy for Panama Infant to get a goal, right? There was great support and, great day.
Police have arrested 3 teenagers on suspicion of murdering a 15-year-old boy in East London. He was stabbed in a fight after a birthday party at a community centre in Romford last night. The Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt says there'll be an investigation into claims that a type of automatic syringe used by the NHS could have caused the premature deaths of some elderly patients. The NHS was warned about the devices in 2010, but only stopped using them in 2015. A ban on selling energy drinks to children is being considered as part of measures aimed at halving childhood obesity in England by 2030. The government plans also include stopping shops displaying unhealthy food at checkouts. Our political correspondent is Jonathan Blake.
It's all to do with prevention and cure, I guess, and the government will be thinking if it can take measures which don't require extra funding for the NHS, which we did see the government announce last week, although that doesn't cover public health budgets, just frontline care. If you take measures to stop children becoming overweight and obese, then they're less likely to get ill.
The French President Emmanuel Macron has warned EU leaders not to betray their European values ahead of a mini-summit on migration. 16 leaders are involved in the talks, which are focusing on how to tackle the arrival of African and Middle Eastern migrants from across the Mediterranean. Prince William's landed in Jordan for the start of his Middle East tour. The Duke of Cambridge, who's the president of the FA, was flying while England played Panama and asked reporters not to tell him the score because of the Jordanian Crown Prince has recorded it for him to watch later.
5 Live Sports. Available now. 5 Live's World Cup Daily Podcast.
Some of the ways the idioms translate over here are magnificent. If you put the cat amongst the pigeons in Russia, you get the goat into the vegetable garden.
Can you just talk older? That's not in idioms and riddles.
Download the World Cup Daily Podcast from your favourite podcast provider.
It's not about football, it's bigger than football.
I read out one of the reviews that said, great pod ruined by the presenter.
This is your World Cup station. This is 5 Live. Live from Russia, this is 5 Live Sport with Kelly Cates.
Hello, welcome back to Red Square. We'll be heading off to France to get reflection on Lewis Hamilton's win in the French Grand Prix very shortly. First, though, we can head back to Nizhny Novgorod, where England beat Panama earlier today by 6 goals to win. And John Murray was watching the record breakers, John.
Yes, I've just been talking to the England captain, Harry Kane, who we'll hear from in a moment, but just to run through some of these records and achievements that England have put together today. Their biggest win at a World Cup finals. Harry Kane, now the leading scorer at this World Cup, 2 penalties in his 3 goals today. The third was a little fortunate. It hit him, the Loftus-Cheek shot hit him and went in. That's 5 in total for Kane at this World Cup. He's scored in his last 5 England games now, 5 games in a row. That's 13 in his last 9 appearances for England, and he becomes only the 3rd man to score a hat-trick for England at a World Cup, after Sir Geoff Hurst, obviously, in the final in 1966, and Gary Lineker at the 1986 World Cup in Poland.
Yeah, not bad company. Yeah, pretty proud moment. Yeah, amazing performance from the team. Not often you get to enjoy a 5-0 lead in a World Cup, so we had fun out there, we worked hard, we played well, so we're enjoying it.
Do you feel that's been coming, that sort of performance?
Yeah, definitely. I think we said after the Tunisia game it could have been 3 or 4 early on. We created some good chances, so it was nice to be a bit more clinical today. Again, great at set pieces. We've been working hard on them, so it's great to see it all coming together nicely.
If referees are going to start giving those as penalties, that's quite big, isn't it, for England, and potentially big for the World Cup as well?
Yeah, well, they are penalties. I don't think anyone can argue with that. I think we could have had a couple the other night. We've got a couple today, so yeah, it's down to the refs and the VAR to get that right. As players, I've said before, we just got to get on with it. Whatever the decision's made, we get on with it. So yeah, there's been a lot of penalties in this World Cup so far, so it's important that me or any other player keeps practicing them, because we could get a couple more.
Well, you did all right with those 2 today.
Yeah, it was nice. Obviously, been practicing the routine. Obviously, a lot more pressure in the game, so it's nice to see it come off.
Remains to be seen whether Gareth Southgate is going to make many changes for the Belgium match. I know there'll be talk about whether you should take a rest, but you've scored 5 goals in 2 games, and there is obviously the Golden Boot to think about. So, desperate to start, desperate to play?
No, I always want to play. I feel good. I feel sharp as a striker. When you're in this sort of form, you just want to be out there on the pitch. But the gaffer will make a decision. Whatever decision he makes, we'll get behind him. Obviously, we want to continue our momentum. We want to win all the games, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, I'm ready to start if called upon. If not, I'll be ready to come on and try and make a difference.
And just great to be through after 2 matches, yeah?
Yeah, that was the aim, that's the goal. So now it's about setting new targets, new challenges. We're playing well so far, but still a long way to go. So we just got to focus each game as it comes and see what happens.
Lovely, thanks Harry.
Cheers,
well done again.
Well done.
See you next time. Bye bye.
That was a lovely little sign off with you and Harry Kane there, John.
Very nice. Might have been edited out.
You know by now, nobody does you any favours here. Look, John,
you said that by the way, not me.
They all seem so relaxed, but actually quite pragmatic in their approach. The highs of that 6-1 win seem to go very quickly, because they know that the game coming up against Belgium is all about who tops the group.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking I touched on it there with Harry Kane about what the team will be, how many changes Gareth Southgate will make, do they want to finish first or second in the group? You can take it from that answer, and I wouldn't have expected anything else, because it's sort of the Tottenham question coming to England. Harry Kane does not want to rest. He scored 5 goals in 2 matches at this World Cup. He wants himself to do well and score goals. He's got their eyes on that Golden Boot, and if he does well, England do well. But Gareth Southgate wants him to be in the best possible shape for the knockout stages of the competition. And Gareth Southgate, when I spoke to him, he said his target for that Belgium match is he wants to continue the momentum.
The discipline that we showed was very important. I was really pleased with that. I think our threat from set plays is clear to everybody. Not only got us a couple of goals, but won us a penalty and may have won us more. Really pleased for Jesse Lingard. I think his performances have been outstanding, and it's a big moment for him to score a goal of that quality in a World Cup. So, and of course our captain with a hat-trick that's almost overlooked given everything else. So I didn't particularly like the beginning of the game, and we were disappointed if we're picking about the goal we concede, because that would have put us in control of the group on goal difference. But to be through and playing as we are and enjoying our football as we are, with still one game to play is I'm really pleased.
That was Gareth Southgate talking to John Murray. John, thank you much for now. It's been that one is 7 o'clock kickoff between England and Belgium from Kaliningrad. Let's head to Old Trafford now and get the latest from the cricket with Jonathan Overend.
Oh, Josh Buttler has moved on to 82 as he just finally slices one through the slip region off Nathan Lyon, and this would be, if he could guide England home, an extraordinary comeback victory from a seemingly lost position. England are 171 for 8. We've just started the 40th over. They're chasing 206 to win, remember. So they need another, what is that now? Another 35. Buttler is 82 not out. Rashid is 12 not out. They put on more than 50 for the 9th wicket. Good stuff this from England. Close. 35 to win.
Tennis now, and we're off to Queens with Russell Fuller,
where Marin Cilic, the top seed, has extended the final into a third set, and all credit to him because the momentum was moving Djokovic's way. He won the first set 7-5. He made most of the running in the second set. He led the tiebreak 4-1. Djokovic threw in a double fault. Cilic bounced back magnificently. He's won 6 points in a row to take the tiebreak 7-4 and take us into a decider.
And now to France, where Lewis Hamilton has won the French Grand Prix. For reaction to that, here's Jack Nicholls.
Yes, a commanding performance from Lewis Hamilton, but his job was made easier when his title rival Sebastian Vettel crashed into his teammate Valtteri Bottas at the first corner. Ex-F1 driver Jolyon Palmer is with me, and Jolyon Vettel, has he thrown away that championship lead?
Well, he has, because he's not in the lead anymore, but it was a move that at the start of the race it was very tight. He had to make it work at the start. He had the softer, grippier tyres. He got it a bit wrong. He took out Bottas. And you're right, that handed Hamilton a very simple win in the end.
That meant Vettel dropped all the way to the back. He's managed to climb up into 5th place by the end of the Grand Prix, but Lewis Hamilton it is who is standing on the top step of the podium now, spraying the champagne because his championship lead is now 14 points.
Thank you very much for that, Jack. Terry Butcher is with me here in the studio. It's the last opportunity that we'll have today to talk to you, Terry, and before you go out to celebrate England's record-breaking win against Panama. I mean, but apart from anything else, how well does this set them up for the final group game against Belgium to finish top of the group and to take them into the last 16?
Well, it sets them up very well. There's still more to come. Good spirit in the camp. When you qualify after 2 games, the confidence is sky high. They'll be looking at what they can do, what they did wrong, improve that, and what they did right, they'll want to continue that. But I think it sets them up well, and Belgium as well. They'll be really looking forward to that, because it'll be like playing against your mates, like a Premier League game for a lot of them, and they want to have the bragging rights when they go back to their dressing rooms in the summer. So very, very important, and I think it's important for England to win the game.
What you may not know if you're listening at home is that red square isn't actually red. It's a mistranslation of a word that in Old Russian means great. However, by the time Terry Butcher's finished printing it this evening, it may well be red by the end of the night. Terry, thank you very much for joining us.
You better believe it.
Yeah. We can find out a little bit more about potentially one of England's opponents in the last 16. It will come from Group H. Japan are playing Senegal at the moment. It's half-time. It's 1-1 between these two sides. To take you through the second half, our studio-based commentary team, Leon Osman and Ian Brown.
Yes, thanks, Kelly. Difficult to judge just at the moment. Japan 1, Senegal 1, as the whistle blows to start the second half of this match in Group H in the Ekaterinburg Arena, and it is Sadio Mane who scored the early goal for Senegal, who gets an early touch. No substitutions at half-time. I'll remind you of the lineups in a second, but Senegal with the early lead through Mane after 11 minutes, down to goalkeeping error, or goalkeeping howler, you might say, as Kawashima punched the ball from low down straight at Sadio Mane, and the ball ricocheted into the net. And then a lot more culture about the Japanese goal as they came back into the game, playing some nice possession football, and then a long diagonal ball, and the goal set up by the fullback, the marauding fullback Nagatomo, and Inui was there to score on 34 minutes with a very decisive strike. And on balance, as we were saying at half-time, Leon Osman, you can't argue with that scoreline, and potential opponents for England could yet be either of these two teams. And don't forget Poland and Colombia with a draw here, would be certainly right back into the group.
Yeah, I mean, both teams come into this game with a fantastic first win in that first game, and you know, if they can squeeze a win out, they're all but through. So I would expect both teams to go for this second half to try and make sure that theirs is the first name through into the last 16. And you know, if they don't, they've still got that game to come. You know, that last game to come that will be a backup for them, so to speak. And Senegal started the first half fantastically well. Japan got back in at a level at half time and deserved to be so. So I would expect an entertaining second half.
Here's Sadio Mane, threads a pass to Sarr for Senegal. Into the centre it goes, and there on the slide to concede the corner was Maya Yoshida, the experienced Southampton defender at the heart of the back line for Japan. Had to really stretch and get a left foot to that one to concede the corner.
He did. He may have got a shout from his goalkeeper. There was nobody behind him, but he was a full stretch, and it's one of those into that area between the centre half and the goalkeeper that more often than not defenders put into their own goal. But he's managed to stretch and get his toes just around it and send it out for a corner. But really good defending from Yoshida.
Fifth corner of the game for Senegal. They've been poor, these deliveries so far from the African team. And it comes from Niang towards the near post, and in there competing with Sane, but Japan was strong back there. They were physical this time in the aerial duel, and they had it clear. Senegal have to retreat all the way back into their own half to pick it up with Sabali. He gives it to the near side, and Idrissa Gana Gueye, the former villain man now of Everton, who's made a good impression with his steady midfield play in this game so far. Now he chips one longer. It's out to Sabali on the near left-hand side for Senegal as they attack. Sadio Mane goes over, looking for a foul. There looked to be a little bit of interference, but the referee from Italy is not shaken or stirred, and the ball is played out to the far side to the goal scorer for Japan, Inouye. They're playing in the second half, all in blue from left to right. The Japanese, the Blue Samurai as they're known. Plenty of support from the Far East for them, and plenty of support from West Africa for Senegal. And this match on 5 Live also being broadcast on the BBC World Service across Africa, so if you're listening on that great continent, you're very welcome. And here is Kagawa for Japan to Nagatomo on the far side, doesn't cross in, finds Inouye who's just behind him. Inouye to Nagatomo again, level with the Senegalese penalty area on the far side. Now he drifts in field as the fair-headed fullback plants it into the penalty area. It's headed on by Haraguchi and headed goalwards by Osako, but claimed by the goalkeeper Kadim Njai.
Oh, it's good play from Japan, as you said. I think it was someone came in crossed it to the far post where Haraguchi has jumped at the back post, and he's just headed it back across to Osaka, who's then had a header on goal, and Senegal's defending was so passive. At no point did they make contact.
Now Japan struggling at the other end to clear their lines as a long ball dropped freely there into the path of Niang, and on the volley he smashes it high over the top of the bar.
Well, chances at both end on this occasion. Niang again just out muscling Shoji at this end. Just a long ball up. He just gets his arm around and rolls him and finds himself having a relatively free shot from the edge of the penalty area, which he sends over the crossbar. But both chances, both ends of the field early in the second half.
It remains Japan 1, Senegal 1 on 5 Live. I mentioned the fact that Poland and Colombia make up this group, this very tight group. They're both on 0 points and they play each other later on. And that's live on 5 Live with a 7 o'clock kickoff with Conor McNamara and Dion Dublin from Kazan. Japan in possession. They play it up to the halfway line. Clever little turn there by Osako. Plays it on to Haraguchi. Haraguchi showed too much of it there to the covering defender, and it's poked all the way back to Njai in the Senegal goal. And it is still 1-1. Don't forget the 5 Live World Cup Daily podcast. That will be available tomorrow morning, reflecting on England 6, Panama 1. We'll be hearing from a lot of those involved in that record-breaking England result. And Frank Lampard will be amongst the guests with Mark Chapman for that. Here come Senegal. The ball's in towards the near post, towards Niang, headed away by Japan, but it drops to Mane, and then it's hit over the top of the bar. Leaning back as he struck the ball there was the Senegalese player, who should have done a lot better. They've had a couple of cracks at goal in the last couple of minutes, but nowhere near the target. And this time the effort was a poor one by Njai.
He should do better. It's a shot probably just on the edge of the D, central. He's coming onto the ball perfectly well, and he just gets underneath it. He's trying to place it, open his foot up, place it into that bar corner. He just gets underneath it. But at both ends of the field, they look like they're going to be opportunities in the second half. Senegal look very good going forward, but poor defensively. Japan are clever when they go forward, and I'm hoping for another goal in this game.
So Japan unchanged from their opening victory over Colombia. So Kawashima in goal, Sakai, Yoshida, Shoji and Nagatomo, Hasebe, Shibasaki in midfield, Haraguchi and Inui the wide men, Kagawa is in behind Osako. As for Senegal, just the one change, they have Kadim Njai in goal, then Sabali, Sane, Koulibaly and Wagu, the teenager, then Ghana Gay, Alfred Njai, Badu Njai, Mane, Niang and Sarr. Let's see how England are progressing against Australia. Could yet be a very interesting finish. Jonathan Overend.
Yes, and it could yet be the full house, couldn't it, Ian, for English sport today, because England's cricketers now only need 19 to win this fifth and final one-day international against Australia. They're 187 for 8. We're in the 44th over. The magnificent Josh Buttler has 92. Adil Rashid has 18 with him. The partnership for the 9th wicket now worth 73.
Amazing fight back by England. See if they can do it here, if they can do it on 5 Live Sports Extra. And we'll keep you up to date, of course, with Jonathan Overend at Old Trafford, a sun-blessed Old Trafford. Sun-blessed in Ekaterinburg as well, in the most easterly point of the World Cup Russia 2018, 4 hours ahead of UK time, 2 hours ahead of Moscow, 900 miles east of Moscow this match is being played. And here is Nagatomo with a long floated ball forward for Japan, easily headed away by the Senegalese defender Sane. And now Ghana Gay will play it forward to Sadio Mane, who spins into a little bit of space, then is rather crudely chopped down, and it's going to be a free kick. It was Yoshida stepping out of defence to commit the foul. Southampton on Liverpool, former teammates at Southampton, of course, aren't they? Mane and Yoshida getting to know each other again. Now a free kick taken by Senegal, and they're attacking on the right-hand side. And good play by Inui, the man who scored their equalising goal, to tidy up. It's up to the halfway line, and it's easy prey though for the big Senegalese defender, who is Koulibaly. He finds Ghana Gay, and he side-foots it wide to the far side to Wagu, the right back. Gets it back again. Thinks about a ball in field. The options are cut off there. Japan pressing with 3 there on the Senegalese right full-back, so instead they strike it long. Yoshida's underneath it, but heads it only as far as Niang. Niang plays it behind his fellow striker, but Mane is onto it eventually, chips it in from the angle. Acrobatic attempt in the centre of the goal from Njai, cleared away by Japan. It comes back though to Niang. He's 25 yards out, low shot. Oh, he hit it really well. True, firm, but straight to the goalkeeper, Kawashima, who this time clutches the ball without too many problems.
Yeah, it's a great strike from Niang with his left foot from probably all of 25 yards. He's hit it, he's caught it true. Unfortunately for him, it goes straight to Kawashima in the goal, but it all comes from a very simple ball up to the strikers. It's from the centre half, just floated up to Niang just to deal with on the edge of the penalty area. He gets hold of it, brings Mane into play, and the next thing you know, they're getting in down the wide and getting efforts on goal. And for large parts of that first half, they stopped doing that. Started again second half and getting opportunities again.
Well, just as he hit that shot, or just before he hit that shot, Niang was challenged by the Japanese captain Makoto Hasebe and thrust out an arm to fend off the skipper of Japan. Caught him on the nose, and there's a fair amount of blood around the face of Hasebe, who is having to go off, at least temporarily. He's a vital cog in that midfield wheel for Japan, is Hasebe, but he might need to be just sorted out a little bit by the medical staff for a minute or two here, and they'll be down to 10 men.
Yeah, he's played well so far, Hasebe. He's been good in possession on the ball, really starting the play for Japan, and he's been vital defensively, just trying to fill in front of Shoji and Yoshida, just trying to deny Niang any space to operate. And as he said, Niang had that left foot shot. As he's done his trailing arm, it's not intentional. Unintentional left foot. His right arm swings in a natural way as you do, and it really did clatter Hasebe in the face. And as you said, he's got blood trickling from his nose or his mouth, and he's just going to have to go off the field for a moment.
I'm surprised the referee has actually delayed it until he is ready to come back on. A lot of grease now around the nasal area for Hasebe.
Well, I'm not sure if he'll be allowed back on the field yet, because despite them wiping it away, it does seem to still be trickling from his nose, and until they can figure out a way to stop that, or the modern day way of putting them buds up your nose to try and stop the flow, but at the moment it's still just pouring with blood.
Let's hope we're not being too graphic for you on 5 Live this Sunday afternoon. He is back on, and he is still bleeding, and the ball is with Senegal now inside their own half, with Sabali, the fullback. He's pushed over. It's going to be a free kick deep inside their own half for Japan. So Japan arguably with the best chance of the second half so far, with that header from Osako, which was clutched by the goalkeeper. But the shot from Niang at the other end was also on target, but a fairly comfortable save for Kawashima. Japan with Hasebe involved in the game. A loose pass across their back four, but Yoshida is there rather inelegantly to shuffle it away deep into the Senegal half. But needs must there. They were a little bit lax at the back. Senegal will clear now, long towards Niang as the Mexican wave sweeps around the stadium here. But it is a match which should really be keeping everybody fully concentrated on it, because it's been a good watch so far. Now a yellow card has been produced. We'll have to see the replay to determine how the referee spotted that. It was Niang who brushed the face of Hasebe and caused that bloodied nose a few moments ago. He's done something similar with Shoji, but this one did look a little bit more something that he could have avoided. And he goes into the book, does Niang?
He does. His issue is he's such a big guy that whenever he tries to make sharp movements, his arms obviously swing, and his arms are at other people's heads' heights. And despite Shoji being a centre-half, as Niang's tried to make a forward movement there, his arms propelling him forward, it's just caught Shoji full in the face. Hasebe took one a moment ago. Shoji's took one on this occasion. The referees deemed that at least one of them is a bookable offence, but it's all down to his physical size of Niang, which is causing these issues.
Well, no blood to report this time, I'm pleased to say. Mane's come to the touchline to get some very expressive instructions from Alois Cisse, the head coach of Senegal. Such a huge opportunity for one of these two nations to really take a grip on Group H by winning this game and going for it in the final half hour.
Well, that's the thing. You wonder, is one of these teams going to go and try and take this game by the scruff of the neck, or are they both going to be pleased that after this game they may have 4 points, they'll settle for the draw? Because going into that last game, it's still all to play for if they've only got 4 points, depending how the game goes this evening. So you'd want to try and take that into your own hands by turning this draw into a victory today, and we'll see who wants it more as this game goes on.
Mane is defending for Senegal, all in white with the green trimmings. That's a loose pass by them though. Japan are quickly onto it on the edge of the penalty area. In comes a low cross into the centre. Oh, that should have been 2-1. It was Osako in the centre who couldn't get a clean strike on the ball. I'm not sure he touched it at all, as the ball was fed in beautifully low across the 6-yard area there by Shibasaki. And the man who scored the winner against Colombia somehow missed the ball entirely.
Oh, he's got to score. A top-class striker will put that away every day of the week. It's a striker's dream. Japan won the ball back. It was played from Hasebe into Shibasaki just down this right-hand side. He's just opened himself up and rolled the ball across the 6-yard line, probably just inside, probably 5 yards out. And Osako has ghosted in behind the Senegal defence. He's just inside the front post. He's opened his body up just to tap it in with his right foot and completely missed it. An air shot, missed it, all ends up, and somehow Japan don't take the lead in this game.
I wonder if that will come back to haunt them as this World Cup progresses. Senegal off the hook there. They should be behind. Japan should have come from behind to take the lead, but he misses out as Sako.
But we're talking, you know, in the first half, Japan went 1-0 down with a howler from Kiyoshima in the Japan goal. But from a striker's point of view, that's just as bad. They don't suffer the same punishment that the goalkeepers will at the other end. But from a striker playing in a World Cup, you want an opportunity to come your way. They don't come much easier than that. And you've got to put your team ahead.
It remains 1-1 between Japan and Senegal on 5 Live from the BBC. Coming up later, Poland against Colombia. Earlier, we brought you England beating Panama by 6-1 for the potholers amongst you who are just back out gulping in the fresh air. Harry Kane scored 3, including 2 penalties and a fairly lucky deflection. 2 goals for John Stones, and the pick of the goals from Jesse Lingard. It was 5-0 at half-time, 6-1 for England. They're definitely through to the last 16 with a record-breaking World Cup victory. Senegal on the attack, but that's broken up, and Japan have got a bit of a spring in their step despite missing that opportunity a few moments ago. And here's Shinji Kagawa out to the far side to Inouye, the man who scored the equalising goal. And Japan just looking the sharper and brighter of the two teams at the moment, although this has been a game of complexities and switches of momentum. Here's Hasibi. He'll give it square now to the supporting fullback. Sakai's deep inside the Senegal half of the field. Back to Haraguchi. Haraguchi to Hasebi, and Japan are content to go backwards as long as they maintain control and possession. And now they shunt a long ball down the near side. It's chased by Sakai, and I think he's kept it in play towards the near post with a low cross. He did ever so well. Hasebi now to Kagawa, just on the edge of the area, twisting and turning. Osaka with a cross to the far post, which he's horribly overhit, and he's not having a very good few minutes, is Osako, the man who just missed that chance. And talking of chances, what chance of England snatching an unlikely victory at Old Trafford? Jonathan Overend.
Still on, but they've lost their 9th wicket, and Adil Rashid has been brilliantly caught at fine leg by Billy Stanlake off the bowling of Stoinis for 20. It breaks that 81-run 9th wicket partnership with Josh Buttler, who is still there on 98. But Jake Ball has come out, the number 11, to join him, and England are 195 for 9. They still need 11 runs to win.
Oh, 11 to win. That's over on 5 Live Sports Extra to see if they can get those extra few runs, I should say, and win the series by 5 matches to 0, the one-day international series against Australia. Here come Japan on the edge of the penalty area. A lovely back heel, and the ball is chipped onto the top of the bar. On the run, it was beautifully struck by Inouye, the man who scored the goal in the first half. He found space on the left corner of the penalty area from a back heel and then chipped it over the top of the goalkeeper, and it dropped just a fraction too late and struck almost the angle of the crossbar and the post and goes away for a goal kick.
Well, Japan are creating opportunities at will at the moment. Inouye, should he score? Probably. Is he unlucky? Definitely. He's opened his body up just as he did for the goal he scored in the first half, but this time he went for the top corner. He got a yard too much into it. It's at the top of the bar and just gone over the top, but at the moment Japan are knocking this ball around so well. The Hasibi in the middle of the field, Inouye, Shibasaki, Haraguchi, they're dominating the play at the moment. Senegal can't get near them, and you know, the reason they brought in Nishino to this Japanese team was because they felt that the previous manager, Khalid Hodge, he was too direct. He wasn't playing the Japanese way. Well, at the moment we're seeing that possession, we're seeing that domination of the way they're going about the approach. It's very pleasing on the eye, and they're also creating opportunities, and they need to score while they're on top to Japan.
What news now from Old Trafford, Jonathan Overend?
What a moment here as Josh Buttler skies one for 6 with 9 wickets down to bring up his century. Absolutely spine-tingling moment inside Old Trafford. Buttler 104 not out. England now 201 for 9, and they now only need 5 to win.
Wow. Thanks, Jonathan. The ball is with Japan. Here it is 1-1. And we almost had a moment to savour from a Japanese perspective with them taking the lead, but they've had a couple of opportunities now. Much sharper effort that from Inouye, striking the bar after Osako totally miskicked in front of goal earlier. And Senegal have made a change. The West Ham midfielder, a man you've played against, Leon, Cheku Kouate, has come on.
Yes, well, I was just thinking they do need to make a change. They're chasing shadows at the moment. The way Japan are passing the ball around, they're getting in spaces, they've found the way to get at this Senegal team. They should certainly be 2-1 up, maybe even 3-1 up at the moment with the opportunities they've created. And yes, Cisse needed to do something to try and halt that flow and that momentum before his team go a goal behind.
Well, it's the first ever competitive meeting of these two countries, and it certainly has been competitive. Here's Sadio Mane thrusting up the near touchline for Senegal. He's well challenged by Sakai with a sliding challenge. Took the ball ever so firmly with his right foot. Hooks the ball away from Mane. Throw in for Senegal. Sabali, the fullback, is dispossessed easily. Haraguchi now for Japan. Inoue, the man who hit the bar but did score in the first half. This time he's brushed off the ball. He's dispossessed easily, and then he fouls his man over on the far touchline, and it was a clear offence as the Senegalese youngster Sarr was streaking away down the right-hand side. Inoue, having lost the ball, ran across in front of his man, pulled him back with his arm because Sarr was going to get in behind the Japanese defence there on the right-hand side. He's one of the quickest young players around, and I think Inoue is saying, I had to do that, so I don't mind the yellow card. It could have been a lot worse.
Well, it was a clever foul in the end. It's in a very dangerous position, just a yard outside the corner of the penalty area in a right wing spot for Senegal, but it was like an Olympic sprinter there. Sarr running down that right wing. Inoue couldn't get near him, had to drag him back because having given the ball away, his team were exposed. It's a clever yellow card to take, but they do still have to defend this free kick in a very dangerous position.
And over the ball for Senegal, Badou Ndiaye. He's still on the pitch, by the way. The other Ndiaye, the player that was at Wolves, Alfred Ndiaye, he was substituted when Kouate came on a few moments ago. So this free kick is very close to the right edge of the Japanese penalty area as Senegal look at things. And Japan have got two in a wall just guarding that near post area in case they try something very, very clever. More likely to be an orthodox ball into the penalty area. In fact, it's played short to the 18-yard line, and that was completely wasted because Japan read the intention. Shibasaki was there, and he just clears away ever so easily, and they did not make the most of that opportunity, to say the least, as the ball is headed away by Yoshida at the back for Japan, this time out for a Senegal throw 5 yards away from the corner flag on this near side, and Sabali comes across to take it.
Well, they tried to be clever. They tried to send all the players running into the penalty area to get on the end of the cross and square it to the edge of the penalty area for a man running in. And as you said, Shibasaki read that brilliantly.
Kouate to Garnagay, back to Kouate, the two Premier League players combining, and that pass from Kouate is horribly mishit deep back into his own half. Wegu does well to retreat and just play it back to his goalkeeper, all in yellow, Kadim Ndiaye. Still 1-1. England won earlier 6-1. Coming up at 7 o'clock, it's Poland against Colombia on 5 Live, and tomorrow we begin to finalise the group positions as the third set of matches begin with, first of all, Russia against Uruguay, both already qualified. Who will finish top of the group, though? That's what we will determine from 3 o'clock on 5 Live tomorrow, Monday afternoon. Here is Sarr. Sarr for Senegal to the edge of the area. Plays it back to the supporting full-back, Wegu. His cross is overhit. Sadio Mane will give chase. He collides with a covering Japanese player. It's a throw for Senegal. Instantly taken. Garnagay will give it short to Sabali. Back to Garnagay. Now wide to Mane. Mane on the left. Plays it into the box. Trying to twist is Sabali. He's done well. Low onto the far post. Is anybody coming in there? Yes, they are! It's the teenager Moussa Wegu who scores for Senegal and re-establishes establishes their lead with his first goal in international football. Intricate build-up play. The ball was played low to the back post, and there was the fullback arriving late to fire deep and high into the net. Japan 1, Senegal 2.
Well, it's the first time Senegal have strung any kind of passing movement together inside Japan's half. It's fantastic play. They've just knocked it round with a bit of pace. It's Gay into Mane. He's knocked it into the box. It's Sabali up from the back. He's up into a left wing position from left back. He just fires it across the penalty area, and Niang can't get there. And coming in at the far post is the opposite fullback, Wagyu, and he just gets there before Inui and just lifts it over the goalkeeper into the roof of the net. And despite the pressure they've been under in this second half, despite probably deserving to be at least a goal behind, they find themselves in front.
More on the goal in a second, but straight back to Old Trafford and Jonathan Overend.
202 for 9 England. We're in the 48th over. They need 4 to win, but Josh Butler, interestingly, has just taken a single off the first ball of this over ball by Kane Richardson. So Jake Ball, the number 11, has got to prod out the over if he can. 4 to win.
Thanks, Jonathan. 5 Live Sports Extra for that gripping climax to the cricket. And we could be in for quite a climax here too. With 19 minutes remaining, it is 2-1 to Senegal, who'll be at the top of the group on 6 points out of 6 if they can hang on to this. And it was Wegu with his first international goal. It was fullback to fullback, but in the middle, there was a nice little back heel actually by Niang. The cross from Sabali. A touch on by Niang, and there was Wagyu to score at the far post and make it 2-1.
Well, it was quite advanced play from both fullbacks. You've got Sabali in the penalty area, wriggling and finally getting the crossing on one side, and as it goes through, the people are sliding in the centre of the penalty box. Who's coming in at the far post, ready to, in an advanced position, gambling that the ball's going to come across, and it's the opposite fullback, Wagyu, and he reaps the benefits of that and puts his team in front.
And Japan have made a change. Kagawa has gone off, having not made much of an impact. He's been outshone by one or two of his colleagues in midfield for Japan, and the veteran at the age of 32, not really a veteran, Keisuke Honda, now playing in Mexico, the former AC Milan player who scored in 2 separate World Cup finals for Japan. He's on in their, well, I was going to say hour of need, their 17 minutes of need.
They are, and you know, it's the team that has been on top in this second half, creating opportunities, finding themselves a goal down. Do they need to change much? Because, as I said, they've dominated the play. They've been creating openings. They just haven't scored the goals. And yes, Honda, who was great when he came on in that first game, he really did make a difference to this Japan side, has been asked to do the same in this second game as well.
Well, Japan do have a corner as the ball is headed away by Koulibaly. It's a corner for Japan, trailing now by 2 goals to 1, despite having the better of the second half of this match in Ekaterinburg. So, Senegal need to be watchful defensively. Honda, with the little bit of blonde dye in the hair, is going to take this corner, an in-swinger, left-footed from the near right-hand side for Japan. They need some movement inside the penalty area. Comes to Osako, his shot is blocked. It fell for him 8 yards out. Half-hearted shout for a handball and a penalty. Nothing doing there. And Osako, to be fair, has had 2 or 3 chances now in the second half to score for Japan, and again he misses out, and he had space 8 yards from goal.
And he's asking for the VAR. The referee's going to have a look at it. I don't think it is, as Osako does have the shot. It hits Salif Sane on the left knee, and then bounces up and hits him on the elbow as well. And you know, there's no way I think a penalty can be given for that. It was just really good defending from Sane.
Yeah, no way can you give a penalty when the ball strikes your arm from 6 inches via your knee. And the referee from Italy spot on there. Now Okazaki of Leicester City, Shinji Okazaki, who's been struggling with a bit of a calf injury, is on. He came off the bench in the previous game when Japan won against Colombia, and he is on in place of Haraguchi. So Okazaki, a chance to make a name for himself, wearing number 9, the man with 50 goals in his Japanese international career. Rather needs it to go up to 51. He's 3rd on the all-time national list for Japan. Japan win the ball in midfield with Shibasaki, who's been perhaps the pick of their players, the number 7. Let's go back to the cricket. Jonathan Overend.
2 to win for England. 204 for 9. We're about to start the 49th over. Jake Ball has done so well, the number 11. He's blocked out 10 deliveries and he's got a single to his name as well. But Jos Buttler, magnificent, guided England to victory on Thursday at the Riverside in Durham. Is he about to guide England to another famous win here in Manchester? 106 not out, turns one to the leg side, and he's not going to take a single off the opening ball of the over. And I think that's very sensible from Jos Buttler, who did take a single off the opening ball of the previous over, which really added to the tension all around the ground, because Jake Ball, not known for his batting, it has to be said, had to defend, which he did admirably throughout that over. So Buttler, who hit the 6th hit just a few minutes ago, which has really put England in this strong position. Just to remind you of the crisis situation that England were in, at 50 for 5 and 114 for 8, but somehow they've turned it around as Buttler just defends to the offside. Overs is not a problem, just the 2 runs required, but of course Australia just need the 1 wicket, having dismissed Adil Rashid a few overs ago, caught in the deep off the bowling of Marcus Stoinis. It's been a low scoring match, very different to some of the matches in this thrilling ODI series that we've seen, from Nottingham to Durham to Cardiff, and it all started at the Oval a few weeks ago, but it has been no less thrilling. In fact, what an amazing finale this is to the whole series. England 2 to win, Buttler on strike, guided through the offside to do it. Jos Buttler wins the match in the series for England, and the whitewash for the very first time in all levels of cricket. England have whitewashed Australia 5-0. And it's a dominating performance, and it's an extraordinary comeback win on the day for England, because they were down and out, it seemed, but Jos Buttler has seen them home. England win by 1 wicket.
And with 12 minutes remaining here, Japan have made it 2-2. It was Honda off the bench, his 37th international goal. Wonderful positional play inside the penalty area, only 6 yards out as the ball came across from the left-hand side, and there he was to sweep it past the goalkeeper. And you have to say Japan overall deserve to be back on level terms. Japan 2, Senegal 2.
Yeah, positive play from Japan, nothing more than I think deserved. But talking errors, the goalkeeper again, you've got Okazaki challenging 6 yards out for a header. His defender, Salif Sane, heads it away, but the goalkeeper comes out completely, flaps at it, lands on the floor, and Azanui just pokes it back across that 6 yard line with the goalkeeper on the floor. Honda's there just to tap it in with his left foot, and as you said, no more than Japan deserved. Shocking goalkeeping to create that opportunity for Japan. But it all comes from very positive subs from Nishino. He puts on Okazaki, he puts on Honda, 2 players that can certainly go and affect the game. He's now gone to 4-4-2, very positive, and he gets the rewards for his team.
Well, the lead for Senegal lasted only 7 minutes, but as Leon Osman was saying there, not the best of goalkeeping from Njai. I think that levels things out in terms of goalkeeping errors in this match, and it is 2-2. Both teams now heading for 4 points. Mane surely offside here for Senegal. The flag is up over on the far side, and it is all square again in what has been some match, Leon.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes you're looking for players to affect the matches they have, but both managers have really affected the second half as well. First of all, Aliou Cissé's team are really on the back foot, really struggling to keep Japan out. He makes a substitute, he keeps his team in the game for 5 minutes, and then they go and score that first goal of the second half. And the same for Nishino from Japan. His team are behind, 2 positive substitutes. It's easy to take one striker off for the other, but he doesn't. He takes a wide player off, goes with 2 up front, and his team get enough people in the box to get back in this game.
Well, here's Honda winning his 97th cap. He's marked it with a goal, plays it into the penalty area looking for Okazaki, who was just off the pace slightly. I think it was overhit anyway, and it's gone behind for a goal kick for Senegal. And all of a sudden the pendulum swings the other way, and Japan are feeling a little more light-footed. 2-2 as we creep into the final 10 minutes here in Group H. Poland against Colombia later. They'll be watching on with a little bit of interest as they prepare for their match. And nobody quite has stolen a march in this group. These were the 2 teams who won on the opening day a draw would leave it, well, gaping really for anyone to take advantage. Ndoye of Birmingham City comes off the bench now for Senegal. He came off the bench in the previous game. He's been on the bench a lot as well for Birmingham under Gary Monk. What difference can he make for Senegal in these closing exchanges? He's onto the ball straight away. He's another massive figure, isn't he, in the midfield for Senegal?
Most players that they've got, you've got Mane, you've got Idrissa Gana Gueye, but most of the players for Senegal are real units, real physical, really tall, and it really buys into the way they can go about playing their game.
Well, we've brought you some action on 5 Live this afternoon, the climax to the cricket with that amazing comeback victory from the dead, thanks to the runs of Butler for England at Old Trafford, and the French Grand Prix. We had the climax of that as well. Lewis Hamilton leading from start to finish. He's now 14 points clear in the Drivers' Championship after Vettel finished only 5th. Verstappen was 2nd and Raikkonen 3rd there as the French Grand Prix came back to the Formula 1 calendar. The ball is with Senegal, but they're deep inside their own half. It is 2-2. Both teams have had a spell in front in this match, but it is all to play for in the final 8 minutes. I wonder what the attitude will be. 4 points would be very good for both teams after 2 games, but the chance to win and really be halfway to the last 16, if not 3/4 of the way to the last 16, that has got to be some prize to chase.
Yeah, and we said it was a real opportunity for both of these teams to really put a marker down and try and make it to 6 points first. And you've got to say both teams have gone about that. They've really tried. We're talking 2-2 in a game. Both teams have really chased those goals in the game, and yeah, it's been a really entertaining game. And how's this last 10 minutes going to go? Is one team really going to go after that winning goal, or at this point will both teams settle for the draw?
Shoji over the halfway line for Japan, who I don't think, judging by their body language and their urgency, are settling for the draw just yet. They hit a long diagonal ball. That's been a feature for Japan. Here's an opportunity for Inouye to cross towards the near post. Okazaki was in the middle, but I think the flag was up for offside, and it's going to be a free kick for Senegal at the back. The men from West Africa will take the free kick from the right side of their penalty area, and everybody engrossed in the match now. No sign of that Mexican wave. Let's go back to the tennis. They're into the final set at Queen's, and here's Russell Fuller with news of the final.
And does the top seed Marin Cilic have the decisive break against Novak Djokovic? He leads 5-3. Djokovic saved 1 break point in that game with an ace, but after an amazing running forehand pass by Cilic to set up a second break point, Djokovic has just dumped a backhand into the net. So here's Cilic at 5-3, serving for the title.
Okay, we'll keep you up to date with that as well here on 5 Live. It's on BBC 2 television, by the way, the tennis. The ball is played into the Japanese penalty area, headed goalwards by Ndoye, but off target by the Birmingham man. Got up high though. Certainly got the better in the air of Sakai, but wide of the far post by a good 4 or 5 yards.
He should do better. He really has put an amazing leap in there. He's got over one of his own players and 2 Japanese defenders. He's rose high enough. At first I didn't know if he'd be able to keep the ball down, but seeing the replays, he's probably about 12 yards out, centre of goal, and he's let the ball hit his head rather than heading the ball onto the goal, and that's an opportunity slipped by for Senegal.
It looks as though Senegal are going to make their final substitution. Mame Biram Diouf of Stoke City is taking some last-minute instruction from Alois Cisse, and it looks as though he'll be on soon. The former Manchester United player as well, of course. Diouf, the referee has spotted that the substitution is being asked for by Senegal, so he will be on in the next few seconds. Just waiting to see who's gone off.
He's coming on for Niang. Niang's in the middle of the field
limping, isn't he?
Holding his foot. I don't know when this injury happened, but he asked for Japan to kick the ball out, and very sportingly they did, to allow Japan to make the substitution. And you know, they had the opportunity to attack with a man extra to really force Senegal to defend, but sportingly they kicked the ball out to allow the substitution.
So Niang goes off, hobbles off, as indeed he did in the first match against Poland, where he went off first of all hobbled off and then came back on, didn't he, to score that rather outrageous goal as Poland fell asleep. This time Niang has gone off definitely, permanently. He won't be sneaking back on. Diouf is on then for him. Let's go back to Russell Fuller at Queen's.
Marin Cilic has 3 championship points. He leads Novak Djokovic 5-3 in this deciding set, and it's 40 love on the big Croat serve. Runner-up last year, serving for the title, and the forehand is long by Djokovic. Cilic, a runner-up 12 months ago, and then a runner-up in the Wimbledon final, goes one better at Queen's Club this year. Is that an omen for SW19? Time will tell, but Cilic wins the title, beats Novak Djokovic 5-7, 7-6, 6-3.
Thanks very much, Russell. So Djokovic beaten. He'll have to wait at least a year now for his first title, but here Inui is being taken off by Japan, the man who scored their first goal in splendid fashion. He is being replaced for the final, 4 minutes or so? And on in his place comes Usami, Takashi Usami, for his first involvement in this World Cup in Russia, with a score at 2-2. Usami, number 11. Here's Hasebe, who certainly has recovered well from that bloodied nose, the Eintracht Frankfurt player, the captain of Japan, who's had a very good game in front of the back four and has thrust forward at times as well. But Shibasaki, for me, has been the man of the match for Japan. Well, they've got a few contenders. As you said, them two in the middle of the field have really stood up to this physical Senegal side today. They've put their foot in, they've found space, they've kept the passing movements and rotation of Japan flowing throughout this game. And as you said, Hasebe has took a real knock to the face as well, and he's still out there. And there's been a few contenders, as I said, maybe Inui involved as well for his contribution. But it's been a really entertaining game. Both teams have gone after the victory. Both teams have created opportunities at the end of the fields, and it's made it really entertaining to watch. And still we have 3 minutes plus stoppage time to perhaps have and enjoy a winning goal in this game. On 5 Live, more England reaction to come after the 6-1 against Panama. The ball is played into the penalty area. 6-1 to England, by the way, not 6-1 to Panama, if you're late to your radios. The ball is with Gana Gueye for Senegal, out to the far side. They have possession again with a leggy Sarr, who's full of running at the age of 20. He should be. The ball is played across the Japanese half. It's intercepted by Shibasaki, and they have to start again with the man who scored their second goal for Senegal, Wagyu, the right fullback, the teenager. He'll remember this day, but he'd like to go out with a victory from the match. It remains 2-2. Here's Gana Gueye again, with the white wristbands on a sweaty evening. Late into the evening now in this part of Russia, approaching about 10 o'clock in the evening. The ball is hit long by Koulibaly for Senegal. Here on the edge of the penalty area is Sabali, who's always been progressive from full-back on the left. His ball to the edge of the penalty area is headed away though by Okazaki for Japan. And here now is a chance for the substitute involved for a first time. Usami with a good run, he goes over, he's been fouled. It's going to be a yellow card there for the Senegalese defender, who was chasing back from left back to right back. Sabali covered an awful lot of ground and earns himself a yellow card. Well, he's been everywhere, as you said, Sabali. He's been so advanced on that left-hand side at times. You felt he was the outside left, not the full-back. He's been up and down on that occasion. He chased all the way across the field, pretty much into a right-back slot to try and help his team defend. Yes, he gave the free kick away. It may or may not have been a yellow card, but his energy's been terrific today. Well, as we know, England could be playing one of these two in the last 16 with your England cap on, Leon. If you had to play one of these, which one would it be? Well, they're both completely different teams. You've got a Japan team that are very technically gifted. They find pockets and spaces. They'll cause you problems by drifting into areas that you're not always aware of. Physically, they're not very strong, but they performed well today, whereas Senegal are very physical. They don't have a particular pattern of play to find spaces, but if they match up against you, they'll cause you problems in both areas. So I think you probably, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, Senegal are a very physical team. If we can match physically, then we can play against the Senegal defence
all day long. They'll give you opportunities, this Senegal back four, to score goals.
Yes, I think if you twisted my arm, England against Senegal would be preferable of the two, should it come to pass. And Doy's been shown a yellow card, a little harshly, for high use of the elbow, so another Senegal player into the book as Japan come forward on the far edge of the penalty area. Usami, who is the substitute, runs into trouble. He's ambushed on the edge of the penalty area, and Senegal have got it with Sarr, who turns it back to Wegu, who scored the second goal. Long ball forward over the head of Diouf and cleared by Japan. Senegal onto the ball quickly. Looked to be a bit of a dive there, but Sarr has won the free kick, shall we say, for Senegal, and an opportunity late on in the match. We're into the stoppage time. Beyond 90 minutes now, 2-2 the score. 4 minutes have been added on, and Senegal have this latish free kick and a chance for the ball to be planted into that penalty area. The Japanese haven't struggled too much under the high ball. In it comes, headed goalwards from the edge of the penalty area by Sane, but blocked away. Comes to Salabi, high into the box again towards the far post. Japan do rise well and head it clear. Usami completes the clearance, but they're inviting pressure. Everybody behind the ball, pumped into the Japanese penalty area again, headed across towards the far post. Here's a chance for a shot from Koulibaly, and acrobatically he went for the scissor kick, and he caught the Japanese player in mid-air. And the referee, I think, has given a free kick for high use of the boot as the centre forward for Japan, Osako, came back, put his body on the line and did the work that was required.
Yeah, it was very brave from the centre forward, Osako there. He's made sure he's got his head to the ball to deny the strike on his goal from about 12 yards. And Japan have been very brave this entire game, bar in the first 10 minutes when I think they were shocked by the strength of this Senegal team. They've done really well, and you know, I think the way this game's going, neither team deserves to lose. They both put in a terrific performance. They both put a shift in. Defensively, I think they're both pretty weak, but in an attacking sense, both have done well today.
Yes, a contrast in styles has made for an entertaining game here. Both teams have had periods when they've been in front. It is 2-2. And unless we have a goal in the next 75 seconds, both Japan and Senegal will remain unbeaten, and will have the opportunity to advance to the last 16, though Poland and Colombia will have something to say about that. It is feasible for both Japan and Senegal to still go out with this scoreline if the later match ends in a draw, and then Japan and Senegal are both beaten by a couple of goals in their final group games. Here on the near side for Japan is Osako, who missed one glorious chance in the second half. Another yellow card, and the referee's been flashing the yellow quite a bit in the latter stages. There are some tired limbs, some lazy tackles going in, and this time Hasebi goes into the book for Japan, the captain, who's been an absolute workaholic in the midfield. 112 caps in his third World Cup. He can be proud of his performance. It is 2-2. The ball is headed into the Japanese penalty area, but hooked acrobatically over the top of the bar there by a tumbling Diouf, and it's away for a goal kick. And the referee is considering blowing the full-time whistle. He has. It's finished. Japan 2, Senegal 2, and well, I suppose both teams will be moderately happy. They're both still unbeaten, and it is 4 points apiece.
Yeah, as you said, the two contrasting styles. The Japanese played their way up the field, created opportunities. Senegal are a more physical, powerful team, created opportunities that way. Both had a right go at it today in an attacking sense. Both quite poor defensively. I think they'll be wanting to work on that before they go into the next game. With regards to England facing one of these two, I don't think you'd be overly concerned which one you may potentially get, because you know, as you get to the round of 16, that they're not easy games, and both teams have their strengths and weaknesses.
So who will England play in the last 16? Well, who knows? Japan 2, Senegal 2.
It's because Group H is so finely poised. Japan and Senegal have 4 points each. They've both played 2 games in Group H. Poland and Colombia still to come this evening. That one is 7 o'clock kickoff. Both those sides yet to get off the mark. But Leon Osman, as you were saying, it's not just Japan and Senegal in this group. Poland and Colombia have the same issue, which is it's all front-loaded. The defences are where the real vulnerabilities are, and it's so difficult to pick which of these four is going to go through.
You're right. It's probably the closest group out of all of them. If it ends up being a draw this evening between Poland and Colombia, going into that last game, any of the four teams can still progress and in any order. So it's so tightly balanced, and as you said, it's ultimately because of the defences of these teams. Both teams going forward today look like they can create opportunities in both, because as an offensive unit they were pretty good, but on the same note, defensively both teams were very poor, very suspect, giving up opportunities, and both goalkeepers pretty much made a howler today, and you look like you could score at any time against either team.
Terry Butcher said that Harry Kane could fill his boots if he comes up against Senegal in the last 16. But thank you very much for joining us, Leon Osman and Ian Brown, who took you through that game, that 2-2 draw between Japan and Senegal that leaves it all very tight still in Group H. Japan and Senegal do have 4 points each, but with Poland and Colombia to play later on this evening.